Hear us? Can you see us? Are my bangs gonna go cray-cray? Yup. Yeah. Taco tones. Hello, and welcome to episode 102 of the Once Upon a Corgi podcast. This is a puppy interrupted crafting podcast coming to you from Southern Connecticut, where I live with my two puppies, cat, and human. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't try new things. You can find me everywhere online as Gabigails and on my hand-dyed yarn at Once Upon a Corgi and onceuponacorgi.com. Thank you so much to returning viewers for coming back, and a hello and welcome to all new viewers. Thank you so much for checking us out. We have an episode today. It's not a super beefy one, but we do have some stuff that we've been doing. Before we get into the crafting, I just want to say all of the show notes will be down below the video. I'm pretty sure that's been the easiest way to kind of make sure that they are there. And if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out. Right? So, I've got my coffee. I think I'm ready to go. My brain's a little bit fried after this week, so apologies if it don't make any sense, which is probably the norm. Now that I'm thinking about it. So with that, let's get into the crafting. Starting off with what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Simplicity 1425 pattern. It is a shirt pattern, but I made it into a dress. Ooh, sorry table. I'm not going to try and stand up and show you because that always ends in disaster. But this is my super Halloween-y dress and I love it and I want 10,000 more. It's super comfy and has a whole lace back. I hope you could see that. So, crafting. I have no finished objects for you. I have almost finished objects, so we're just gonna go with it. And these are sock tubes. So this is White Dog Fiber Co. self-striping yarn in the Sweet Romance colorway, and I have finished my tubes. I'm going to do afterthought heels with these guys. I did a 64 stitch count on 2.25 millimeter US 1 Hayas, and I used some Knit Picks Merlot for the contrasting cuffs, and I will do the same for the heels once I get around to them. I finished these on Tuesday, and I'm hoping this weekend to cut out some time to cut out my heels. So these guys are done. I've woven in all my ends. I haven't trimmed them yet, but they're all woven in. And then we'll have a pair of socks done. I think this is the longest it's taken me to knit a pair of socks since I started, but there's no rush. I still don't have a sock mojo. I'm just kind of letting the socks be socks. Knit themselves as they will. So these guys are almost done, and I'm super excited to wear these in the fall. I do have one more color of hers in the XOXO color. Is this it? Yes. I believe they're both merino nylon. I don't know where I put the tag for this one, but I'm pretty sure this is a merino nylon. I think so. It might be BFL. This one might be BFL. I have to double check. I don't know if I have the tag anywhere. I don't know. I don't know where the tag went. Let me check the bag. I don't know if I'm going to knit this one right away. I did cast on some commercial sock yarn, but I really enjoy the variation in her stripes. She has an Etsy shop, which I will link to in the show notes. So, one pair of socks. I think this is like my second pair of socks for the year, which is, I mean, I did 12 last year, I think. I'm once again in that moment where all of my projects are either just started or so big that I'm still in the middle of them, and I'm not totally sure what the big cast-on-itis is gonna do. So, we'll see what happens. I have a feeling cast-on-itis is coming. In a very vengeful sweater way. Yeah. So keeping on the sock theme, I did cast on another sock because we went to a 4th of July party last night / yesterday, being as it is now the 5th of July, which I think is why my brain is going crazy, because Jake had a day off in the middle of the week that's not usually his day off, and then we did things instead of just managing the house, which is from the tornado that is our work weeks. So I cast on a plain vanilla sock in Lane Cervinia, and it is, I hope I'm saying that right. Why is there a bobby pin in this? There we go. It's an Italian yarn, superwash, 75% lana wool and 25% polyamide, and it is one of these self-patterning socks that I just grabbed right out of the stash because I needed something. And here we go. I did a 2x2 regular rib on 2.25 millimeter needles, 64 stitches, rib for 20 rows, and now we're on the stockinette. I only really worked on this in the car on the way up yesterday because it was just so humid when we got to the barbecue that I just didn't want to. It's very, not scratchy. It's a super rustic wool, so it did not lend itself well to humidity knitting. I think it's going to be a good thing to knit on while I dye yarn. I usually try and have a small project ready to go when you're just waiting for the colors to set in between, and I think this might be it. I've been doing shawls in between, and that has just proved to be a bad idea because now I have to rip out that shawl. So more on that in a minute. Yeah, not a lot to say so far. It's just been, you know, the start of a sock. I don't think I'm going to do a contrasting heel or toe with this guy. I'm just kind of like gonna let the self-striping do its thing. I do have a second ball, right? It's supporting most of my yarn right now. So the plan is to use as much of this as I possibly can, or leave enough that I have. Why am I finding all this hair stuff? Like, there's a rubber band. What is in this bag? There's some more bobby pins. Guys, plan is to either use up as much of this as I possibly can and maybe make the legs a little bit longer, or leave enough that I can do matching shorty socks because I don't have any short socks and I'm starting to wear my sneakers to the gym more and not just to bar class, so I would like to get some nice shorty socks done. I say that, which means I'm probably never going to do this. I shouldn't have said that. Plain vanilla sock. It is living in my Madder Root bag, which I adore. It is the maroon knit stitch 1, and I have now recently gone through and pulled out a ton of project bags that I'm going to be putting up on my D-Stash account. I think I'm going to put them in groups of like sock, medium, and large bag size, because I haven't been using them, and I'd rather have them be in a home where they're going to get used instead of sitting in a bin while I continuously use the same 3 bags, which are all Madder Root, because I love them so much. So much. I have been working on my gallbladder, but it's in the middle of the short row section, so it's a little weird to show off, and I think my plan is to bring it back when I finish the first half of the shawl. That way I'm not just showing you like, here's another giant blob of shawl that looks the same as last time, but I swear I put 10 rows in it. I did, however, cast on a new shawl, which Audrey is using as a pillow. Can I have this, please? Oh, thank you. And it is living in my brandy new. I really need to work on this spending freeze. Madder Root bag. Madder Root was at the Green Mountain Spinnery for the I-91 shop hop, which I did not go on, but Adrian and Mama Gergs did, and I told them if they have the blue Faces of the Moon bag, get it for me. I don't care what I need to do for it. I need this. So it was there, and I got it, and I love it, and I have no regrets. Living inside of it is a test knit I am doing for my friend Sam from Samantha Guerin Designs. I say from, it's just her. I don't have the picture. I'll put a picture up here of it. I am doing the 1 skein version, and I'm using my hand-dyed yarn. I'll show you the color. In the color The World from my Mermaid Cat Tarot collection on my penny base. And here we are. It's a little baby nubbin still. I'm in the middle of tinking back. I have somehow I lost track of my rows because I wasn't paying attention, obviously, probably because I was watching The Office, and did like 1.5 repeats too many for the brioche section, so I'm just trying to get back to the correct stitch count. But I'm really enjoying it. It is a garter and brioche lace 1 skein shawl, and she also has this 2 skein shawl version coming out, and I'm just loving the way this is knitting up so much. I need to like remind myself to make little swatches after I dye new colorways because I just love them so much afterwards. Also, it helps people to see how they knit up, but mostly because I want to see how they knit up. I am doing this on a size 6 US size 6 4mm needle, which is what she calls for in the pattern, and I think I'm right on gauge. But it is a shawl, so it doesn't matter too much. So yeah, I've knit the brioche section, I think twice now, with just one stitch off, and I really enjoy it, and I hope to knit it. Nope, I think I'm going to enjoy knitting it correctly with the correct amount of stitches for the final time. It hasn't really gotten too much love in the past couple of days because I had to think back, and then we were doing things, and we went out to dinner, and it just was not a... Yeah? I am super excited for this shawl and to see everything knit up in it. I haven't done a ton of one skein projects in a while besides socks, and I am ready for a nice quick one skein project. I'm here for it. Can I have my pattern back, please? Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Pups are so tired. And those have been my projects. Again, I've worked on the gallbladder. I've been bringing it to knit group and when we go Pokemon hunting, but it's in the middle of not a jumbly section, but like it's the middle of a short row section, so it just kind of looks like a giant blob on my needles at the moment. And that, I haven't, yeah, I'm still in this weird crafting rut where like I want the things, but I just don't want to make the things. It's kind of coming out. I feel like I've been saying that for like 2 months now, but I don't know what I need to do to jumpstart it, so I'm just gonna let it kind of ride this course of crafting rut, which is not great for my bedroom because as of right now, I have a bunch of fabric out, which then has a bunch of cutout fabric on top of it, which then has a bunch of wool on top of it, and then has a bunch of caked up yarn on top of that, which just makes my room look like a complete disaster at the moment. I have been looking at sewing patterns as of recently. Nothing too specific, just kind of looking at different websites to see what they have. So I think tonight after I finish work, I'll go through my fabric stash and see what I have and what amounts and what could work for those patterns. Maybe that'll help a little bit. I just don't know. I want to read. I just want to read. So I'm gonna let myself just read. I have been doing some spinning on my Into the World Queen of France. I think I have 2 more nests done. It's on the wheel, so I don't want to take it off because I don't like taking the bobbin off the middle of it. And I am spinning that hopefully for a light fingering single ply, so when I chain ply it'll be like a sport to a DK weight, so it can match this. And my plan is to do a shift cowl out of all hand spun, which I am so excited for. And that has just been a really nice kind of mindless craft that I know I'm crafting, but I don't have to think about anything. It's just sort of moving my hands. That's knitting. What is happening to my brain? Guys, it's melting. My brain is just melting right off. I'm hoping to get all the singles done and hopefully plied before next week, which would be super nice. We will see. No promises. I'm also hoping to get my cross stitch done. I think I have 3 leaves left of the cross stitch. So maybe I should set goals for myself for this. Yeah, I can do that. What? So new crafting goals. Our crafting goals for next week is to finish spinning the singles of all of our fiber. Do you have crafting goals you need to tell me about? Goals. Finish spinning the singles and finish my cross stitch. Can I do this, please? It's gonna be like a 20-minute episode. And go through my fabric stash. So spinning, cross stitching, fabric stash. Those are my goals, and we're gonna try and make new ones up each week to keep us going through this weird rut thing. Mabob. I don't know. I don't know what this is. The panic before the Rhinebeck storm? That might be it. Might just be the panic before the Rhinebeck storm. Our other 2 sections are shop update and beyond crafting. So if you're not here for those and just want to see what projects I'm working on, thank you so much for watching, and let us continue into it. We are not going to have a shop update this week because of the holiday. I'm not sure if we're going to have one next week either, but keep an eye out on Instagram or our newsletter, which you can sign up for at onceuponacorgi.com if you scroll all the way down to the bottom. Is this why are you slowly sliding off the bed to get pets? You can just come over here. No, too tired. Most of our updates are on Instagram, so definitely keep an eye out there. Into Beyond Crafting. So everything I've been up to that is not crafting. As of last week, because we podcasted early last week, we went to a wedding on Friday for one of our, well, two of our friends. One of our friends that we knew through Bertucci's and his now wife, who he also met through Bertucci's, and our entire table basically met their spouses at Bertucci's. That was a lot of fun. We did end up missing the actual ceremony because of traffic, but we got there for cocktail hour. Dancing was great. Dinner was amazing. It was at a venue we did go to before for another friend's wedding, but this was the new section. Like, the building was still under construction when we went to the first wedding, so it was really nice to see more of that venue. Last weekend was also the I-91 shop hop. I was supposed to do the Connecticut stores, but could not because of said wedding. So instead, I just went to Knit New Haven on Sunday to meet up with Mama Gergs and Adrian at their final stop, and I hung out there and knit for a little bit. And I saw a couple people who recognized me from the podcast, so hello. It was a lot of fun to just sit and knit there. It's one of my favorite yarn stores in Connecticut, so I had a ton of fun hanging out with all the ladies of Knit New Haven, and proceeded to try really hard not to buy all of the yarn because they had some beautiful stuff there and I wanted it so bad. But to stay strong. Spending freeze is real now. It's real. And as I mentioned before, 4th of July was yesterday in the United States, so we went to Jake's brother's house for a barbecue, brought the dogs, hung out for a little bit, and then it was real nice. We were home and in bed by 10 p.m. So good. We ended up leaving right when all the fireworks really started because that's when the dogs started getting real nervous. So we missed most of the state's big fireworks shows because we were in the car. So they were a lot calmer and less freaked out about it, which was really nice. So now we are back in the swing of things almost and planning the Jim and Pam because that's coming up next month. Oh boy. But mostly what I have been up to is reading because I have a massive problem. I can't stop. So this week I have read, starting Saturday, I have read Sever Bronny's Clash, which is book 4 in the Arthintian line, and I have started Riven, which is book 5 of the Arthintian line. And also, I have read Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas, and now I am on chapter 9 or 10 of Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. It's so good. It's so good. A lot of people have read the Throne of Glass series, said that it takes a little bit to kind of get into it, and they're very right, but I think it's the slow burn that like sucks you in, and now I'm here for it. I mean, yesterday I went to bed at maybe midnight. No, later. Like 1 or 2. We ended up going out to drinks with our friend who just got engaged. So we got back around 1. And then I woke up at about 9:30 in the morning and was like, oh, I'm just gonna, it's a holiday, lounge in bed and read my book. So I picked up Crown of Midnight and I was probably maybe 2 or 3 chapters in. And then around 3 p.m., came screeching back into the bedroom after moving from the bed to the couch to the floor to the couch, that the next book was available at the library now, so I could download it now, and then downloaded it and started reading Heir of Fire while Jake is basically dragging me out of the house by my ankles because we have to go to this barbecue. It was so good. It's such a good book. Her world building and just details to everything, just it's like gabbled on. It's like I just can't. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. I feel like I've said this 1,000 times, and I finally said it to Jake yesterday, and he just stared at me with like, oh my god, that totally makes sense. Like, I get it now. And I was like, I haven't been this enthralled with a book series since Harry Potter came out. Like, when Harry Potter came out, that was my life. That was my blood. That was my food. That was it. It was just Harry Potter. And now it's back. I didn't think I would have another book series like that. It's here. And she's writing a new one that's coming out in the fall. Oh God, I can't. I'm gonna get nothing done. This wedding's gonna get canceled because I can't read and plan at the same time. It's just not gonna happen. It's so good. It's so good. I'm really glad that there's like 7 books in this series as of right now. What is this? She just has such a magical way of like building each scene and then placing tiny little hints in everywhere, and then you're like, oh, that was a fun sentence, and then 14 chapters later you're like, oh my god, this sentence, it means thing. I just can't. I now, like, when I was in English class in high school, I thought it was real dumb having to analyze books, and I was like, there's no way the authors put this much thought into it. But now reading like Outlander and Game of Thrones and anything by Sarah, I get it. I want to write book reports on these things. Ugh, so good. So I think all my crafting mojo has just gone straight into my reading mojo, which I love, but it's a lot less productive than knitting or sewing clothing that I need. And that's just been what I've been doing the whole time. That's it. If I just want to retire for like 3 weeks so I could just read 1,000 books and then get super motivated. I am super excited for the advent calendar. I really want to just release the second round of pre-orders now so I can start dyeing them. I can't with this series. I just can't. Pups, I can't. But unfortunately, to my tiny reading heart, I have to do work so I can pay some bills, so I can buy some more books, which I can't buy until after this wedding. I gave myself a yarn diet, and then I already broke it on fiber, and then I re-broke it on bags, so then I had to add a clause for yarn, fiber, and bags, and now I have to add a book clause. Just have to make it to March. Then I can buy all the books. Speaking of working, I should get back to work. We do have a wholesale order going out within the next week, so it's been a lot of that dyeing instead of dyeing for the shop itself. So I'm going to let you go before I think of something else to gush about with this book series. If you haven't read Throne of Glass, highly recommend. I hear the audiobook is also very good. I haven't listened to the audiobook yet. I think I want to read them all and then I'll listen to them all instead of my last listen, read, listen, read, read, listen, read. Cannot get over it. With that, thank you so much for listening to my ramblings about a book series that's not even related to knitting, and that's fine. I will see you all next week, hopefully with 3 completed crafting goals. Bye.